the small fish swimming around are mostly sardines. There are some anchovies out there as well. But there were more, but I took them out for a pizza this morning. The big fish do occasionally eat the little fish, which is why around feeding time, the little fish look kind of nervous. But the big fish get on a schedule of being fed, and so they kind of get used to that. But yeah, other fish will disappear on an occasional basis. I'm not off base in saying that, am I?
You're not off base. But we make sure to tell everyone that all the fish get, of course, very well fed here at the aquarium.
Especially the big ones, because again, they eat the little ones. Any other questions? Yes, sir. There are bluefin and yellowfin in that tank. The really big, fast-looking ones, though, are the bluefin. Yeah. Do they get much bigger? They can get a heck of a lot bigger, and they'll even get much bigger in this tank. But generally, the policy here is when an animal gets really large, it's released. So, but yes, bluefin tuna can get like Volkswagen Beetle size. 850 pounds, 1,000 pounds isn't unheard of. So, but we're not going to eat them.
This is where I throw in a nice statistic. The largest bluefin ever caught out in the wild weighed in at over 1,400 pounds. I knew something you didn't know.
Actually, it was 1,472.9. I'm kidding, I don't actually know that. Yes? Am I going to do the Darth Vader? No, I only do the Darth Vader voice when I'm in the water, because it doesn't work very well when you're out of the water. So. And I'm not diving in the tank. I'm not going to be in there during feeding, because a lot of their relatives have vendettas against me for all the unsustainable seafood that I ate in my past, but I'm reformed now. Any other questions?
I have one.
Who? Where?
Right here.
Oh, hi. Which question?
What's your favorite sea animal?
What's my favorite what?
Sea animal.
My favorite sea animal? Just like to look at or to gobble up? Well, my favorites are actually in there. It's the sardines. I love sardines, and I like mackerel a whole lot too. My favorite to look at would be the mola. They usually have a mola in here, but they don't have a mola right now. We're mola-less at the moment. But the mola is a pretty cool fish. That's my favorite fish. There's not one in there at the moment. And those mahi are pretty cool too, the dorados, which are also called dolphin fish, even though they're not even remotely related. One of the great things about a tank this size, though, is you get to really see how these schools move. Which reminds me of commuting in Atlanta. Well, we're close to showtime. Any other questions about anything on Matthew Airlines? So yes, sir.
Only sustainable fish. What kind of fish do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most now that I only eat sustainable seafood? Once you've had really good bluefin tuna, that's a tough thing to give up, but it's really rare and really expensive anyway. I mean, so it's not something that I regularly ate, but now I don't, eat it at all anymore. And, I used to eat blue whale about once a week. I don't do that anymore. Gave that up, and sturgeon, but...
This is where I'm supposed to come in with another interesting fact. Did you know that the blue whale poops 2 tons a day?
And that's sustainable poop. And usually organic at the same time. But actually, you know what, Lorraine? Back off! Mike Hogg, get your own microphone. I've actually found that since I started using the Seafood Watch materials and the cards, and I have the Seafood Watch app on my phone now, that I'm eating even more seafood because there's so many different varieties that I'm aware of that just weren't on my radar before. So I really don't miss anything from eating sustainably because there's so much more available now. I'm eating Arctic char now. I eat sable fish. A lot of things that I just didn't think about. So there's no real hardship. Anybody else? Oh, yes, sir. I didn't see your hand. Go ahead. You gotta shout loud, though. Why do the dolphin fish swim at the top of the tank? Because they know what feeding time's coming, and they know that that's where the food's gonna get first. They are also, that's typically a fish that swims higher in the water column anyway, because that's typically where their food is. Are you ready now? I'm not going to acquiesce the microphone now.
Well, now I don't know what to say.
Now you don't know what to say. How very like you to want them to know. Now it's all yours. Here.
All right, excellent. No, so Yeah, all right. Well, I was actually going to say, do you have the Seafood Watch card on your iPhone?
I have. Got it all?
Okay, yeah, so you can access this on your iPhone for those of you and me who have not actually quite joined the technology age. We also have the physical card here, right? You don't need to keep that on you anymore.
You can pick up the regular card. They're all over the place. I like the app though because it includes all of the areas, including the sushi card. Do we have sushi eaters here? Yeah, my daughter and I are huge on sushi, but we're eating only off the sustainable list now, so we got that.
And frankly, I can't keep it all straight, so I don't think anyone should feel bad if you can't keep everything straight. That's why we make these cards. That's why we make the information available. We do the science for you, so that's something really fantastic. All right, so who wants to watch some fish eat? So they're up top. They have prepared approximately 775 pounds of food that they will be tossing in, and this is, who's up there? I don't know who's up there. It's Scott, my husband. He's up there, actually. I know he's listening in, so everyone say hi, Scott! Hi, Scott! Okay, we're going to let Alton Brown do the honors. You got to give him the cue, all right? So you just tell him if you're left and
Well, you probably shouldn't even give Scott the cue because he's learned how to completely tune your voice out. It's like white noise on the radio. He doesn't even hear it anymore. Is he ready?
Well, let's find out.
All right, Scott, it's chow time. Ring the dinner bell and throw that stuff in. Go. Feet on. He's tuning me out. Oh, there it is. All right, here we go. It's a frenzy.
Actually, one of Alton's favorites. We've got sardines going into the water, and some squid. Yeah. Also, probably more commonly known as calamari to all of you. And let this be a lesson, of course, to you notice the nervous fish are taking off over there on the left-hand side. Let this be a lesson to you, Zoe. Stay in school. That was good, huh? You like that? I got another one for you. What do you call a fish with no eyes? That one wasn't it, I'm sorry. I'm done over here.
He's not getting anything, so Reid doesn't need it.
Right, yeah, so you'll notice that the rays have kind of taken off. The mahi are changing color.
Why would that be? Why would the mahi change color on the wheel?
Well, they seem to undergo a color change anytime they get sort of excited. So we see that happen both in the wild and also when they get fished out. Whoa, wait, there goes the tuna right in the middle of the school. Something to notice with these, both the bluefin and yellowfin tuna, if you look on the sides and on the top, you'll see that their fins come popping out when they want to make a quick turn, and then they will tuck them all back in when they want to be really fast. Now we're also feeding the schooling fish at this point, so you see they've all found a big ball of krill up there. So now they've kind of combinated up there in the upper right-hand corner. Uh-oh, hammerhead getting in the way. Yeah, with the slower swimmers, though, this is really targeted for the fast swimmers. You see they clean it up pretty fast. With the slower swimmers, we feed them separately. Later in the day, we'll target feed them over on the side of the exhibit. Alton, I have to admit to you, I've got that thing where I'm kind of like intimidated by cooking sardines, and the rumor is you've been eating a lot of sardines lately. Is that true?
I eat sardines several times a week, but then I like them canned and fresh, so I'm probably half sardine right now.
Let me smell you.
It only comes out when I sweat.
Okay, so for a girl who doesn't eat a lot of sardines, and doesn't cook them a lot, I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to be brave because I know that eating sardines and squid is eating a little lower on the food chain.
Low is good.
And low is good. So how can I kind of get over this? How do I prepare something that I haven't prepared before? I'm a little afraid of cooking, fish.
Well, when it comes to cooking fish, especially if you're cooking lower on the food chain, one of the nice things about cooking small fish is they can usually be fried whole. And that's always good. Just head, tail, everything, and fry them up. Larger fish that are cut into fillets, I typically, if it's a new fish, I like to just brush it with olive oil, sprinkle on some sea salt. He's all fired up. Go, Benita, go.
Another interesting fact, actually, the bonito in this exhibit do spawn in the exhibit.
Just in front of everybody? Just spawn? Just like...
Don't even pull it.
So I was saying, don't even pull the curtain. For the bigger pieces of fish, if I'm trying them for the first time, I usually just broil them with a little olive oil and sea salt so you get the pure flavor of the fish. Americans have a tendency to put way too much flavor kind of enhancement on fish. They're already delicious, you don't have to do much with them. But the small fish, always great to fry and also to grill. I sometimes put whole sardines right on the grill them up, eat them, skin and all. The barracuda is just about the only thing in here I wouldn't eat. I don't care for barracuda too much. Do you like barracuda?
I've never eaten barracuda until
They say you can make jerky out of it.
You actually make excellent beef jerky, don't you?
I do make excellent beef jerky, but I've never made it with barracuda. That would be the next thing I try. Because they're nice and long. You can strip it out, make jerky.
Will we be seeing that in a new cookbook from you?
Probably not. Although I think a sustainable seafood cookbook would be good.
What do you all think? Would a sustainable seafood cookbook from Alton be a good idea?
There's 100 copies sold right there, so that ought to do it.
Everyone needs to buy 2.
So, answer a question for me. Once the feeding's done, are these little guys still pretty nervous because the big fish are in eating mode?
You know, they tend to, you can definitely see they really balled up and sometimes, but they're definitely swimming a lot faster. So everything kind of, after the feeding sort of ends, everything kind of slows down a little bit in the exhibit. But notice how the food, notice how the food never hit the bottom, and that's because these are open ocean animals. They're not used to bottoms, they're not used to any sort of walls. So we make sure that as we toss in the food, it all gets eaten up long before it ever hits the bottom of the exhibit. So if you all look up to the top, now my lovely husband Scott is doing what he does best. He's cleaning up. Would you tell him to do that at home? He doesn't listen to me.
No, I won't tell him that.
Okay, they're all done up top, but they can't hear you, so would you just do me a favor, give them a great big round of applause upstairs for tossing in all of that. It's fast and it's furious, and I have to say, can we also please, let's give Alton Brown a great big round of applause.
So, how many times a day do you guys do the feeding here? Is it just once?
Yeah, it's actually only 4 times a week, so we don't even feed these fish every day. But they do get fed, they get fed really well fed.
Excellent. So everybody can just sit here and wait for the next feeding, which will be in a couple of days.